Hi there, and welcome to week 3 of the around OrkneyBowl. And welcome, Craig. How's it going?
Good evening, Johnny. How are you this evening?
I'm okay, thanks. Happy with the team result this week. I'm complete shock, but there's been a lot of teams that you thought wouldn't lose did lose, and a few very close games that'll be going down the wire on Thursday. Because
it was a bit of a nuts week, Johnny, wasn't it? It was a bit of a nuts NFL week, much less fantasy week, but fantasy even more so. I mean, who'd have thought that the two best blooming quarterbacks this week would be Andy Dalton and I don't know, maybe Daniels or something like. I mean, it was a crazy week.
And 37 points for Chuba Hubbard.
Dante Johnson all of a sudden becomes relevant, so anyone who started these guys, I mean, good call starting them, obviously, they're sitting on the bench everywhere I've got them, but great call to start them if you've started them.
I only see that now because they're sitting on the bench in St Magnus. And obviously Tyler Conklin as well, but Jacoby Myers. I think I even dropped him in one of my leagues last week because he done bugger all, but he went a bit.
I mean, Dallas Goddard turned up from nowhere, didn't he? I mean, there's still a lot of tight end problems, but Jawan Jennings. I mean, you could have brought in Jawan. I would think that Jennings will be rostered in every league. If he wasn't last week, he certainly will be this week. But I mean, if you had the balls,
I think a lot of people got him last week. But the thing is, he's still a good sort of flex when the other two about because he always gets a couple of catches a game. And they're usually for a first down,
definitely
for 20-odd yards. So he's always getting at least 5 or 10, maybe 10 points with the OrkneyBowl scoring a week. But yeah, that's just crazy.
With the size of your bench as well, I would be surprised if he's not on more benches than he's not. I would be surprised if he's sitting in any of the agencies. Certainly, even before Debo's injury, I would be surprised if he was sitting in any agency, So yeah, whoever's got him, if they've started him, I mean that's practically a game winner, that,
I've got a trade request that you would love. Not in this league, but it quickly got declined. I got offered Debo Samuel for Devon Achane. It's like, get to. I ken you only got 8 points in that league, but I've only got 3 running backs. I'm not going to get rid of the best one.
You can't make it up, can you? Someone wanted, when CMC went down, someone wanted me to give them CMC for Gus Edwards and Jerome Ford. I'm like, no.
Although the way things are going, the dynasty. The way things are going, I might say now because he's going to Belgium or someplace to
Germany. He's in Germany right now.
Germany,
but I mean, at the end of the day,
he should be back.
If he misses if he was to miss this whole season, and don't get me wrong, the way the 49ers are going, see if they're sitting like 1-6, 1-7, and he's ready to come back, they'll probably just sit him for the season. So it could be that he misses this season, but I certainly expect that if he misses this season to be back fresh and ready to go next year. I don't think he'll go anywhere. I don't think it's a career ender type thing. So I still think there's just.
But
I think there's juice in CMC still in a dynasty league. I'm not so sure I'd be happy sitting on him in a redraft right now, and I am in a couple of places, and I'm really worried about it. Because effectively, if you're sitting on CMC, you had the number 1 pick, maybe the number 2 pick at a push, but you had an early pick, and at this point, it's been absolutely worthless. You may as well had nobody.
Well, it's quite funny. I think in Pez's one, that was a Monday before the season started, I had the 102, and CMC went to the 103 because nobody wanted him. And obviously ended up in IR. It's still not bad. If he comes back, he'll certainly help them. But it's I think that even on the Monday before you're drafting him, and it's like, I'm not playing.
I mean, I think it's bad play from the 49ers to leave it right to the last minute. I mean, everybody expected him to be starting on the Monday night, and it was a big shock on Tuesday morning when we all woke up to find out that he hadn't. Now he's on IR without coming back. I'm sorry, but they knew he was in a bad way. They knew, and they've just
definitely. And it's
bad part of it. But
again, they're not responsible for like fantasy, but they're supposed to be a bit more honest now they're not, because remember Bill Belichick used to do that. He used to put his whole team questionable before the week, so he didn't know who was going to be playing. So.
That's why they removed the probable tag as well, because but that's the thing in the NFL, you're supposed to declare all of this stuff, and them not declaring it is a little bit
Dodgy.
shy. But it is what it is, They're 1-2, so
Yeah.
they got what they deserved, if you ask me.
I knew you like that one. Yeah, that was some game though. Flipping hell, man. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
fun to watch and it's funny to see.
say I fell asleep before the end of it, so I missed the big comeback, but I will catch it on highlights at some point during the week, but I missed the end of it, unfortunately. I fell over, but look
Well,
forward to seeing the highlights of it. But
you will very much enjoy the highlights of that, especially the fact how much you love them.
do you know what I love about that game? Do you know what I love about the Rams Niners game more than anything, more than the Niners losing it? It's the fact that Kieran Williams popped up with the 3 touchdowns and that, and the panic in everybody's eyes when they announced that he was going to be returning
It's not a
punts. It
flipping
was a big
chance he's
rush to
going to
get
be it.
Corum. I want Corum. Corum's going to be the #1 running back after a couple of weeks here. If he's returning punts, he's a nothing. Those who stuck by him and stuck and still drafted him despite that announcement are now, rubbing their hands with glee. And those who didn't are regretting reacting so badly to nothing news, really.
Yeah, it was.
Is he still returning punts?
Has he actually returned any? I'm not sure if he has or not. I'm not
He
sure.
returned them in week 1 and he returned them in week 2, but Doug seemed to think that he'd stopped returning them week 3, which would make sense because they've lost so many players to injury that they're no one to lose another one of their stars. So maybe they have sat him now, but certainly 3
It's
touchdowns gave those who stuck with
most
them
of the
the
time they'll just be catching it anyway. Like so, I mean, it's different from a kick
that's what I
return when
said.
you try and kick them back. So
It's not for a return as much as he's obviously very good at catching the ball and he's our best ball catcher. And, very rarely will you return a punt for a touchdown. A lot more times you'll fumble one and the other team will get the ball back in good position, So he's probably in there
don't
because
talk
he
to me about
catches the ball real well.
don't talk to me about fumbles and special teams after 5 fucking seconds and they fucking fumble the ball and Cleveland went 7-0 after 11 seconds in the game. Luckily, it didn't do much after that, but that was. I was half expecting the chat to go absolutely bonkers with that one, so I did have the notifications turned off at the time.
To be fair, I'm surprised you didn't switch off at that point and no see the comeback. But that was
Oh god, no!
there you go.
I'm used to watching the Giants being bad, so I will watch it to the end. But yeah, it was.
Quite right.
There was a lot of swearing going about at that point. Put it that way.
I'll bet.
We'll get into the games in because every people do tune in and be wanting to watch that and listen to rabbit on. I hope that's the right one.
Everyone want to see how they're doing.
So we have.
It's
Division
there's going to be some 3-0s, Johnny. There's going to be some 1-3s. There's going to again, it's only week 3. I wouldn't panic if I'm 1-3. And if I'm 3-0, I'm happy. I've had a great start, but you're 1 week away from a downer, so it's can't take the foot off the gas.
No, I don't see this as a better screen. That's not making a difference. Yeah, so we'll start here. We've got the Glasgow Eagles now 2-1, 176.09 to 188.13. Leeds Lasso's now 3-0. The Whatnot Warriors 239.17 against the Leicester Tigers 190.93. Ancoats Citizens 230.97 against the formerly 2-0 EK Colts 139.9. So that's one of them gone. Alaskan Deep Freeze 194.76 up against the Carlton Crew 233.21. Our defending champion get off the mark 211.53 Double Apron Blues against the Whitworth Rockstars, who were also 2-0 198.11. The Manchester Bees 172.59 up against the Seattle Patriots, who obviously had one game taken back, but they should be safe this week with 200 points and 11. So they got their first win of the season. So we've got 2 3-0 teams here.
2 3-0 teams, Leeds Lassos and the Carlton Crew. 2 names that were right up there last. Well, all of these names were up there last season, weren't they? Because it's Division 1. This is so. All of the teams in this league were at the top of their leagues last year. But 2 3-0 is going to be absolutely cheesing. There's only 3 2-1s. So there's only five of the 5 teams on positive.
And bear in mind, those 3 were all 2-0. They all lost this week. So
yeah, and it's the own threes. The own threes are only they're only 3 games back, and they're only 2 games back from the playoffs. So they're only 1 game back from the playoff. So you're even at 0-3, you're only 1 game off the playoffs, and there is only one 0-3. It's Leicester Tigers. Oh, that's a shame. What's the form there?
I know they were a high scoring team last year. They've just not had much joy so far this year. But
yeah,
let's see.
I mean, the draft for this league would have been difficult as well. It's all of these teams were top of the league last year for a reason. Top end of the league for a reason. So the draft would have been hard as well and gone through. Let's go and see. Leicester. Is it Leicester Tigers that are
Leicester Tigers? Benjamin.
And you?
They scored 190
points. 190 points wins you games. So let's see where it's kind of. Mahomes, tick. Charbonnet, tick. Taylor, tick. There you go. It's the Calvin Ridley effect. I'm struggling with the Calvin Ridley effect. And Mike Evans as well. It's one of those, there's going to be good weeks and there's going to be bad weeks. That's what happens when you've got an average quarterback thrown at you. And for Ridley, it's a bad quarterback thrown at him. So, they are going to have good weeks. And I've got Ridley everywhere.
Yeah. And Josh Downs. Was that his first game back, Josh Downs?
Must have been, because it's been all Pierce, hasn't it? So, yeah, that must be his first game back.
Cooper, Singletary. Tucker only get 3 points. That's crazy. He missed a field goal. That's 2 he's missed this season. Oh, CJ Mosley, that was quite a late. He had a player out on Friday night.
Oh, so he did, yeah.
And Matt Crosby only got 6 points. That's not going to happen very often.
Do you know what the thing about Justin Tucker is? He used to be the only kicker in the NFL who could kick over 60-yard field goal. He's now the only kicker in the NFL who can't score an over 60-yard field goal. So it's very much flip for him.
It's not
a bad team, is it?
He's been a number 1 kicker for so long. Kenny Badger's he's going to have to miss eventually. But yeah, what's his bench like anyway? So, well, he's got Murray and Levis.
Well, there you go. There's a problem with couple of quarterbacks on the bench, and I'm never a fan of that. It's a wasted spot, which means that there's spots not taken, and then 3 tight end. Oh no, Dot's wide receiver. Sorry. Missing AJ Brown, he's straight back in as soon as he's fit, and he's not on IR or anything, so you'd expect Brown back sooner rather than later. And they'll probably need Brown back this week because I cannot see Smith making it this week after the hit he took. I mean, that was a bad one. That was a big hit he took.
Yeah, that was the boy's. Is the boy going to get fined for that? Surely, it looked pretty bad. Like,
was a flag even thrown?
No, but sometimes they get done after the fact. Like, but
proactively.
Yeah, so
it was a big hit. You could see. I mean, so that I'd be surprised if he's playing this. If Smith's playing this week, so they'll maybe get Brown. So good news for Leicester Tigers here that at least you might be getting Brown back this week. It's not a bad team. There's no need. No need to panic.
It's a good team. Just Rockne Warriors.
I mean, Rockne Warriors has got off the mark here with 200 points. And if you look at the first 3 names there. Mayfield didn't do a whole lot in the grand scheme. Neither did Dobbins, neither did Jacobs. So there's good neither did Lamb. So there's good things coming. Joanne Jennings is coming. I'm telling you, Joanne Jennings. Yeah. There you go.
Drake London.
There you go.
Drake London, Joanne Jennings.
Is that 9?
Cole Kmet, 39.
Is that 9? What? How many points is that
51
for Jennings? 51.
51.
I thought that said 91 for a second there. Yeah, that's going to be, and Cole Kmet bounced from nowhere again as well. I benched him and show me the money, Johnny. Thank goodness it didn't matter. I would have been kicking myself forevermore.
Well, I came up against fucking Josh Litz through multiple touchdowns, fucking Allen last night.
Yeah, he finally.
I needed him from the week before, but yeah, but he was able to have 2 bad weeks in a row. Yeah, Zach Moss, 27 points.
So I mean,
26 points. Singleton, 18 points. Yeah,
only 1 and 3. At 1 and 2, you know, that's and this has been the first one that team was on too. See, once those top 4, and this is just a week, you know. It's Mayfield will have great weeks. Dobbins, well, you know, he'll have good and bad, but Jacobs will be a lot better than that 90% of the time, as will Lamb. So, you know,
yeah.
if these guys down below can keep scoring the way they are, and Jennings will keep scoring as long as Samuel's out. Even if
Well,
Kittle
he's
comes
on the
back,
bench anyway.
Jennings will keep scoring. Even until
Well, yeah,
CMC comes back, because Mason doesn't Mason's not a catching back, you know. They're not throwing the ball to him. He's rushing the ball. So
he's
I think
tunneling
Jennings
through
is,
the middle. Yeah.
yeah. So I do think Jennings is a very startable player, even when Samuel comes back, I've got to say. So yeah, I'd be over the moon if I was Warriors here, and not just because I've got my first win, but
Yeah,
I'd be
same.
very, very happy with my team.
Well, Lamb always does well against the Giants, so he's playing on Friday night. So he's going to get off to a flyer on Thursday night. Unfortunately, hopefully not, but he does seem to have good games against the Giants. They've got EK Colts, who won the St Magnus division last year, up against Ancoat Citizens, 230 points. EK Colts had a high score last week, I think, but only 139 this week. So
Stroud's
JJ
a
Stroud
problem for me.
underperformed.
Stroud's a big problem for me. And don't get me wrong, 16 points isn't bad for him, you know, it's not terrible, but I think that's what you're going to get out of him week in, week out. I'm worried that Stroud, and it's not going to be regression as much as it's going to be just, you can't, it couldn't be the same as he was last year, you know, it just wasn't ever going to happen.
No,
So,
and like you
you
say,
know,
it's,
he's not going to
yeah,
win
no,
you many
well,
games,
unfortunately,
Stroud,
it's my
this season
quarterback
is the
too.
thing. He'll not
No,
lose you many
but
games.
Najee
I'll
Harris
tell you
got
another one
19
I'd be worried
points.
about. The other
Garrett
one I'm
Wilson.
worried about is Garrett Wilson. Rodgers always
Yeah.
shares the ball. I know that Adams got the ball a lot in Green Bay. He did, but so did a lot of other people. And Rodgers isn't the same quarterback anymore. That ball is going to get spread about in New York. And Garrett Wilson does not seem, you know, from where you had to draft him. I mean, second round at the very latest, you're drafting Garrett Wilson. I'd be quite worried if I was sitting on Wilson from a second round right now too.
It was
And obviously,
like
Deonta Smith's out. So
I watched some of the game, and some of the passes that he would throw, like Wilson just had to turn around and come back for them. But he wasn't, the timing was out. So it might come out later on, like, but he's got Lazard. You know how much he loves Lazard.
correct, and
So
you know he's gone for Conklin now, and once Rodgers gets one day a good tight end that's catching the ball, he goes there a lot. You know,
yeah,
he's going to both running backs are getting catches, and you know, so there are other options in that team for him to throw to. So yeah, I mean, if I'm Wilson will have some big weeks, you know, and I mean, 16 points again, it's not bad. He had a good week, but that was because of the touchdown. It's touchdown dependent, that you know.
yeah, and a couple of first downs. But yeah, obviously he lost Smith. Jane and Reed will have more games. Johnny Smith will probably get more now that half the Miami teams figured. Yeah,
Well, yeah, you
nothing
would
out of
think
Donny
so.
Mitchell. It must be bad if you played Mitchell. So
That's Quentin Johnson. I now thinking, is Quentin Johnson a proper viable start week in, week out now?
well, it
It's
depends who
not
the
for me, I
quarterback
don't
is.
think. Well, there's a
If
big that's a big thing on it,
if
but
Herbert's the
it's
quarterback, Herbert likes him in the end zone. But Heineke, no. Was it
I
Heineke?
just think he's got.
Yeah.
Was it Heineke that? Well,
Was it
I
Heineke?
know it was Heineke. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the other boy, what's it, Stick? He didn't. It wasn't him that came on. That's
Easton
what I was
Stick,
expecting
yeah.
it to be.
But then in fairness, it was against the Pittsburgh defense. So Heineke just got
It was, and
clobbered.
you
Like,
know
but
they've proven it once again. They're the real deal. You know, in the first 3 weeks of the season, they've been absolutely solid. Mitchell's kind
Dicker
of lost
Kicker's not done much.
any hold for me until Richardson starts showing that he can be more accurate. There's just too many
No.
receivers there for Mitchell to be an anything for me right now. That's but yeah, I mean, look at all the outs that he had there. You know, he's got Kittle out,
Yeah, he basically
Dele
picked the
out,
only team he could, apart from Purdy.
yeah, and Blake
So it
Corum
wouldn't have made a
0.
difference.
You know,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign when they're missing so many of their wide receivers. You know, it just goes to show the confidence that McVay must have in Kieran Williams at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I would be quite worried. I would be quite worried if I was EK Colts. It is 2-0, but he's just got quite a lot of injuries flowing through there now,
Yeah.
you know, and he'll be hoping he gets more of them back quicker rather than later, you know. He's going to need a few of them back.
Yeah. I've got Citizens 230 though for the first win. So you've got obviously Josh Allen, 46 points. Rashad White
He's
did
finally
bugger
turned
all.
up, hasn't
Still
he?
got 13 points. Paula did nothing this week, 8 points. But you've got Shakir, 22 points. Tankdale, 15.95. Roma Dunze, that was a bit of a mental game, 27.5. Jake Ferguson back in the lineup, that's always a good one, 23.7.
Yeah, 97 yards as well, or something like that.
Yeah, 95 yards, 6 at 11. Steele, 13 points. You got 11 points off the kicker, 7 off Fred Warner, which will usually get more than that. And Ernest Jones, 25.5 up against Green Bay. So,
yeah,
it's pretty.
I mean, it was.
Apart from the running backs, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, you know, and see with Ferguson coming back's massive for him there, you know, and it's not even the 95 yards, it's not even the 5 catches, it's the 11 targets. You know,
Yeah.
he is being targeted, actively targeted. He's probably getting targeted second most in the team behind Lamb. So you got to be delighted with that, you know. And when
And
you've
it's a
got
good end
like
zone
Chris
target as
Sutton
well.
sitting there on the bench, he's get Walker to come back.
Exactly.
Done well to hold off putting Perina in. That was a good decision, obviously, although the rest of the running backs didn't do too well. But yeah, a very solid team off the mark now. So a good place to be. And getting players back from injury as opposed to losing them to injury. And that's the thing. It was just such a wonky donkey week this week that you don't know if that's kind of going to be the norm or if it was just an anomaly, you know. But we're looking through the tight ends, you know, and you've got like Bowers didn't do a whole lot, you know, Laporta done nothing and then got hurt. Andrews didn't touch the ball. Kelsey's got about 30 yards again for the third week in a row. You know, so these guys are doing nothing, but then the guys that were just underneath them in the draft, your Fergusons, your you know, they're starting to show up. Goddard's showing up, you know. So
well, you know,
that's a massive
I've
thing
always
in
liked
terms of.
Goddard, but you know, I had him for a couple of leagues, but he can't stay fit. But like, next week he'll probably score 5 points.
Guys, are the top end's going to show up is the big thing, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the defending champions getting off the mark then, the Dublin Everton Blues.
211 points. Obviously Jackson, Henry, so the nice Baltimore, near 70 points between them.
Running combo.
Stevenson, -10. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
you got to be worried about Tyreek Hill with that quarterback because they were awful.
You have to be worried about Pittman as well. I'm not being funny, but Hill and Pittman, two very, very, very talented wide receivers, two of the more talented wide receivers in the league, but in such bad situations at the moment that it's hard to see the production coming over the coming, you know, kind of next few weeks anyway. It's maybe back end of the season they'll start finding, you know, Richardson will start getting a bit better. Tua back in, etc., you know, makes a big difference. But at this moment in time, it's going to be tough to win.
Did you see the interception he threw in the end zone? Richardson. There was 4 defenders around one receiver, and he couldn't even run for the first time. He just like chucked it like that. It was straight to a fucking Chicago player. It's like, what the hell is he doing?
Even a receiver? I did not see the receiver. I thought it was.
He was sort of stuck in the middle of 4 players.
I kind of thought it was a defensive back meeting, and they just the ball showed up because that's that's what it looked like to me.
He could have ran. That was it. He only had like 5 yards to go. He could have just fallen on the ground. But that was just.
I'm sure we'll get
that. Daniel Jones would do that throw.
But that wasn't good. There you go, Dallas Goddard there, though, you know. Yeah. Robinson will do fine.
We're still getting 19 Robinson. Points. There's the defense. So, Wagner, 16 points, and Alshire 23. So,
just wide receivers there for me, you know, that the Hill and it's such a shame that they are a problem, but Hill and Pittman are the only real problem that I see there. And it would have been 2 of his more confident picks, you know.
Well, Hill would have been his first pick, no doubt. Pittman maybe his second pick. Maybe his third round pick.
Maybe third. maybe third or fourth even. But yeah, Hill would definitely have been first round for sure. Had to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's off. Listen, defending champions, you never rule out defending champions. You know, when you've got that taste, you want it again. So 1 and 2, well in the hunt, and just needs a wee bit of
Jack
production
played
from the
Lockett
wife.
and Metcalf together.
Yeah, that's
12 points
that's
from
a bit
Lockett.
that reeks of desperation. That does.
They had Andrews,
Marv
0
Andrews,
points.
0.
Adams only got 12
Big
points.
goose egg.
Ty Fairburn, no points.
Yeah.
Defence did well.
Tough, you know. But I mean, there are receivers there on the bench. He lost Cup was the thing.
He had Wonder Robertson, who's getting a few targets as well. So, and obviously Seattle Patriots getting off the mark, and the Reed Lasso 3-0, carrying on with our poor Graham gave his first loss.
We'll
Still
see
pretty close, only 12 points. Oh yes, Hurts against Richardson. That's not a very good matchup.
Yeah, I mean Richardson is still one, but I mean it's and this is your Donald Duck. Sometimes 188 points is more than enough to win games, but it's also more than not. It's more than enough to lose games as well. And there's people who will see a lot more score points than that have won this week. So, but I mean, for me, that it's very much a Richardson problem. I am so scared for Anthony Richardson this season to the point where it is Flacco that they've got behind them, isn't it? Is it still Flacco?
No, they got ready Flacco because obviously Flacco went to, where did he go? He's not there anymore. They let him go in the off-season.
If it's a semi-competent wide receiver that's sitting in behind him, then I'd be looking over my shoulder for this season. And I'm not saying that that's him. You finish him. That's not him finished.
Oh no, they have got Flacco. I
But
thought Flacco went away. They must have re-signed him.
Yeah, no, I thought they had Flacco there. I mean, the thing is, if they're not going, if they start, well, if they start winning, then he stays in, doesn't he? But how long do you give it? I wouldn't be surprised if they sat him for a few weeks just to let him get a breath because he has had a bad start and his accuracy has shown up. I mean, I called it. Remember, I did say in one of these pods, I said 17 games he has played since high school. That was all 17 games of football he has played since high school. So heading into this season, he was very, 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 very raw. And you can see how raw he is. He looks like he's he looks like he's a very good wide receiver. He's just very, very good quarterback, sorry, but he's just so raw that I wouldn't want to be sitting on him this year. And I'm sitting on him in a few dynasties. So it does worry me for those games.
Yeah. Obviously, you'll get more. Well, Graham did have Chase and McLaurin last night, so he must have been getting a bit excited with Abers scoring points, but not enough to catch up.
I mean, the thing is,
Trevor Sales got 12 points, but yeah, Connor did nothing. You lost Eckler earlier on. That was a loss because he was doing well. Eckler. He left the game.
Go out? I didn't even know that. But I mean, Kelsey's a worry as well. I mean, I've got Kelsey, and it's just like, I'm coming into this season with two offensive players from what has been the best offense in the last 4 years in Pacheco and Kelsey, thinking that, I'm not one for doubling up on running back wide receiver. I don't do it. But with the Chiefs, you think you can get away with it, no bother. One of them's an IR, the other one's just
done nothing.
Is he done? Do you think he's done?
No, I think he's just he'll have his games. It's just got to pick the right one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm ready to put him on the bench at this moment in time. I've got to say, I'm getting to the stage where I need to see it before I put him back in. But yeah, I mean, he's missing, lost Mixon late to injury, and not a bad one. So, I mean, I wouldn't be worried if I was Graham, the Glasgow Eagles. The team is fine. It just lost to a team who scored more this week,
Yeah, they both when they meet up again, it'll probably be a high scoring matchup between the pair.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's see Division 2 now, Johnny. Let's flip along to Division 2 and see where we're at. the teams that are trying to fight their way into Division 1 and play for the OrkneyBowl title next year, you know, big league.
So the Orkney Orcas 183.95 get a shock against the Godalming Goats 158.83, last week's highest scorers. The Newcastle Buccaneers 219.12 up against the Warner's Brave Goonies, losing their first game 179.86. Closet Fighting Gophers go 2-1 with 230.85 against the Solihull Sharks 202. Bankfoot Panthers, that's I think it's the highest one in the division. Fraser 250.93 up against the Yorkshire Fincher 227.71 and got beat. The Whitehall White Tigers over 360.81 against the Harrow Harlequins 202.54. Sean, the favourites for the division, 227.04 up against the Steelcombe Bengals 181.28. So there's only one 3-0 team, and that's Sean. We'll have to go for this one first. Where is it? 250 to 227. He would have beaten everybody else in the living.
I was going to say before we go to your game, and you can talk us through it, Johnny. No, go on to Bankfoot Panthers. So I was
this one here.
I was speaking with Fraser. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So I was speaking with Fraser this week, and he was saying how chuffed he is with his team. You know, it's one of those ones. He's replaced his porn with his OrkneyBowl team at the moment because he just loves it so much. You know, and he was 1-1. You know, he was 1-1, and he's telling me how much he absolutely loves his team. You know, and boom, there you go. Shows up with 250 points in a week where it was a low scoring week. You know, there's a lot less teams in 200 plus this week than there has been. You know, so. Let's have a look at this team that he's so in love with. So he's got Mahomes there, obviously. Yep, you'll take Mahomes all day long.
David Montgomery, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Isaiah Likely did nothing, Jordan Mason, Zach Moss, Chris Boswell, Zay Bowen, and Al Zaire. So he got nearly 50 points for his defenders, so that helps.
Makes such a difference, you know. I mean, the defenders makes. I say it a lot. But the defenders make such a difference.
37 and 27 for his two main running backs. Plus, he got another 27 points for Moss. He only got 15
how
for
worried
Mason.
How worried are you about Brandon Ayuk? I mean, he's been paid, and what's he done?
Well, because obviously I watched the game, and there was one point he was clear. Purdy had time. He could have launched it down the field, but he just took too long and then dumped it off. But Brandon is past the defender. He's got the arm to throw it, but he didn't throw it.
Well, I mean,
it would have been a touchdown. It would have been an easier catch than that crazy one he did last year with a tip catch. If he'd hit him, it was a touchdown. But he didn't even attempt to throw it. He just looked down and dumped it off to Schubert or whatever it was.
It definitely worries. It worries me if I'm an Ayuk owner because Purdy's balling out. It's not like Purdy's playing bad. Purdy went for nearly 300 yards, you know. He's thrown for, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's thrown for a lot of yards. It's the same worry I've got with Kelsey not being involved. At Kansas, I would be worried about Ayuk not being involved with the amount of passing that's going on there. So, yeah, other than that, it's
10 targets, he caught 5 of them. So, but yeah, so he's still getting the targets. It's just no catching them.
48 yards, you know. It's you know, they went on about it. They banged that drum. The Niners fans, they banged that drum about saying getting them paid. Well, be careful what you wish for is all I could say. But other than Ayuk, who will have these big games, and you would think he'll come pretty decent. I can see why Roddy likes the team. You know, it's quite. I mean, I'd be getting rid of Vidal. Vidal's not one that'd be sitting on my bench at the moment. That's for sure. But outside of that,
he's got Jerome Ford, Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, TJ Higgins is back. He'll do better. His first game back. Noah Fant, who seems to be actually quite popular tight end. I'd probably play him at the moment over likely. Queen, so his bench is pretty bloody solid too, to be honest.
Yeah, bench is great as well. Yeah, I can see why he's happy with it. I've got to say, that's a solid team. And Luke just ran into one this week, you know.
Luke, because Luke would have beaten everybody else in the division. He'd have beaten Sean by 1 point or something like that, because of 227.71. So obviously Daniel's 39
So,
points,
yeah, I mean,
Henry
just
36 points, Mattison, Myers, Harrison. Obviously Waddle's a sore one with that quarterback situation. The Kelsey problem, 12.1. He's got Ferguson playing now. He got put Braylon Allen in. That was a brave one. Got 1 point off his kicker, which you wouldn't expect normally, but yeah, it's unusual. The look on, I think he must have gone up injured or something like that because he's 6 points. And
yeah,
his
he's
fair
normally a
flanker
lot
at
more than that.
26.
He's questionable on his side.
So he might miss next week's game as well.
You've scored 200 over 220 points. There is no need to panic. So you're 1-2. It doesn't matter. Not at this stage, you know. As long as you're scoring points like that, it's just shake it off and move on. You know, it's one of those. You don't lose any sleep over losing that. It's annoying. It's really annoying. But you don't lose sleep over that. It's, you know,
Oh God, no.
nothing you can do about it. You know, you've done all you can. You've scored the second most points in the division, and you've got beat. So good win for Fraser.
Sean.
And here comes Sean as well. Is Sean the only 3-0 team in this division, in this league as well? He is,
Yes.
isn't he? Yeah, Sean's
Yes,
the only
yeah.
3-0. So
The highest scoring team is over 680 points. He scored in 3 games.
yeah, I mean
You got
the
Aaron Rodgers, 30
Newcastle
points.
Colts.
Barkley. But then obviously he's managed to still got all those points with Kamara not doing as much as normal. Pittman getting 11. Devontae Smith losing the game. Nothing of Shaheed out of 5 targets.
0.
Losing Porter coming
Porter
back
as
in.
well,
Feels like losing
and
Porter.
Hart.
Robinson didn't do much apart from score a touchdown. Aaron Jones did well. Hugh didn't much. Ellis didn't do much, and Spillane did well. They still managed to score
Yeah,
that
so I
with
mean,
half his team underperforming.
but do you know what? Do you know what the thing about that as well is? And do you know what will be very encouraging for Sean at this stage? The guys who have kind of underperformed per se, Pittman aside, have been performing in the weeks, you know, the first couple of weeks. And the guys who have scored this week are guys that haven't been so much, you know, Aaron Rodgers, you know, Barkley had a good week 1, a really bad week 2, you know, so it's kind of the spread of his team. All of his team are scoring points, maybe not always in the same week, but they're all scoring points, and that's got to please you. That's got to make you very happy.
Well, Rico Dowdle on the bench got 11. Kirk got 20. McLaurin finally got some points, 23, but obviously Watson
McLaurin will
got
just
10
get
points.
better as the season goes on for me. McLaurin will, oh, look, Christian Kirk had a week for a change. So there's maybe him, you know, kind of announcing himself to 2024 as well. Now McLaurin announcing himself to 2024. So big options there for him, you know, and it's big choices for Sean. Sean, the Indianapolis Colts fan, by the way, Newcastle Colts. Would you be dropping? I would be dropping Pittman and putting McLaurin in. I've got to say, at this stage now,
I
it's
would.
time to drop him.
I don't. Yeah. Well, you know, it's like Pittman, even last year, he did well with the backup. Was that Flacco last year? No, he was the backup last year.
Yeah, it's Flacco.
Minshew. No, Minshew was the backup last year. Flacco was the backup in the Browns. That's why the Browns let him go because of the hassle with Watson. Because their fans would rather have Flacco play than Watson. So they went, right, see you. So then he went to the Colts. It was Gardner Minshew.
I knew
that
he
called out,
would.
and Pittman got all the points mainly from Minshew last year, not from the couple of games that thing they played. But yeah,
Who's showing it? But I mean, at least Minshew got the ball to him. You know, this is a problem. He's not getting Richardson is not getting the ball to him, and there you go. That's the problem for who is it that's on the right again? Sorry, Johnny.
got Stoke on Bengals, so they're 1-2.
Stoke on Bengals, yeah. See, that's it. They've very much got the Richardson problem. You know, Stevenson it's just one of those weeks. Stevenson's still going to be the number 1 running back there, and he's
God,
going to get the
just
carries and he's going to get the touches. I wouldn't.
the
I'm not worried
defensive
about
line was
Stevenson.
disaster.
I'm not worried about him. Their chases finally said hello to 2024. You know, I mean, it was only a matter of time, but you know, now that that's him going and Higgins is back, and Higgins being back's not a bad thing for Chase, in my opinion. It's a good thing because it means that you get, you know, defenders have got to look at Higgins too. So I think that's a good thing for Chase. Adams and
God,
Evans, so it's amazing how many leagues that we look in that Adams and Evans are in the same team. You know, it's quite uncanny. But it would worry me carrying both. They'll both have good weeks, but as you can see, like this week, they can both have bad weeks as well because they're just not in very good teams.
Well, that'll be 2 weeks in a row, like, because was it not the week before everything went to Goddard, or was it the week before that? Ken, it seems to be throwing, no, Goddard, Godwin. He seems in the slot, he's getting all the targets, but yeah.
It's because he's in the slot.
So, yeah.
Because he's in the slot, but Evans will have his weeks as well. You know, it's not Evans will have Evans will go for over 1,000 yards this year. I mean, it's just what Evans does. There's no ifs, no buts, no maybes if he stays fit. Yeah, there you go. That's therein lies the issue. You know, it's you bend you keep you. I mean, I don't get why you wouldn't play Joanne Jennings this week. If you have him in your team, then you must think something of him. And to have him in your team and not play him this week
and lose by 50 points, and he scores 50 points.
You know, so if you've got him and Samuel's out and then Kittle goes out, I think you have to play him. So it's kind of a funky one. Talk us through yours then, Johnny. You thought you were.
Well, I thought, after last week's game of Warner, I thought I was going to get pumped, like, because obviously I'm on the threadbare team with losing Cup and McCaffrey. But yeah, it sounded too much. Hubbard was a nice surprise, getting 37 points, being your main running back.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Hall, another fumble, but he's still getting his touches. Quentin, I put Quentin Johnson in, but it's worked out getting a touchdown. Like I say, Jaden Reed will do more. Sutton finally turned up and get some points. Schultz didn't do much, but then not many did in Houston that game, but he got more time. I put in Strange again, didn't do much, but he got his touchdown, so that was quite nice.
Yeah, I rolled the Strange card.
Hunter Henry did bugger all. McPherson didn't really have to get much chance to do much. They're playing catch up. Okereke and Singleton both did well. Yeah, so obviously I had Wilson on the bench. So I think he's in my starting lineup this week, actually.
At least, you know, and do you know, this is the kind of week I was, but I've got Wilson on my bench as well in OrkneyBowl, and I've got him and Show Me the Money bench. And this is the kind of week I was waiting on to be comfortable putting him in. You know, I knew it was going to come. I knew it was going to come sooner or later. Glad it's sooner, but you know, that does kind of tell me that he is the bona fide number 2 there, and he will be the number 2 target. You know, maybe not. Well, you know, you've got obviously McBride as well. There's another tight end of the top echelon of tight ends who's done nothing, by the way. But tell me this, Johnny, Breece Hall, are you worried about the emergence of Allen, or are you happy about the emergence of Allen because it will keep him fresh?
I'm not overly concerned because he still will be the number 1 running back, but if he keeps on fumbling, I might start getting a bit worried. But they do seem to me, they're like Jacobs and Bradshaw for the Giants when they both had the two-headed monster, and they both scored fantasy points. And they both do again. The Bradshaw?
I agree with you.
I agree 100%. If I had both on my team, I'd probably play both of them. One in the flex, because they're going to get 15 points. So because
it's one of those rarities where you can play both running backs. The other team that have got that right now for me is Detroit. You know, if I had Gibbs and Montgomery, I'd happily play both, no problem. You know, they're both getting production, but it's a rarity. And even now, in the days of the kind of committee back rather than bell cow back, it's still a rarity where you get 2 of the same team that constantly will produce. And I think that is true. I think Hall and Allen are 2 who will constantly produce in the same weeks, you know.
But bearing in mind, before the pre-season, when after the draft, I said how much I liked Allen, and I was basically going, "Oh no, he's never going to get in the field because Breece Hall's here." Well, he is getting on the field because he's a bloody good running back. So yeah, no, he's good. I'd love to go him too, but yeah.
You've ran into the Godalming goats and the highest scorers from last week. You've ran into them in the right week. Achan getting next to nothing. You know, Connor, who's been absolutely flying, got next to nothing. Lamb's not done it.
Yeah.
Collins, who's been going absolutely mental, didn't get much. Andrews get nothing. You know, you've ran into him in the right week.
I know. But then he's also got the problem. He's got Dak Prescott on the bench, so that's
Well,
Dak
that's
Prescott, Kyler Murray. You're always going to play Kyler Murray.
yeah, but
Even against Detroit.
I mean,
So,
there's weeks where you could play Dak over Murray for sure, but you're going to look silly more often than not because the one on the bench is going to score more points than the one that starts
just like
often.
that. Yeah.
So,
well, the problem. Yeah. So, but then
for me,
it's
that's
one
not even the fact that you've got the two of them. You're going to make the wrong decision a lot throughout the season. I mean, it's not cost them the game, but it's got close to it here.
It would have been
But
close. It would have been.
it's not even that. It's where you had to draft them both. There are genuine starting wide receivers, starting running backs kicking around in the rounds that you have to pick up. I mean, Kyler Murray was going anything between kind of 6 and 10, and Prescott was going around the same time. So
Yeah.
you're still picking your start lineup, and you're picking a benched quarterback who's going to do things like this and make you look silly, you know. So I mean, it's not cost them the game, as we say. It's a 16-point swing, so wouldn't have done it, but it's not a million miles off it. And there are
They
weeks
would have
where
been a
it
bit.
could
I would
cost.
have been a bit more nervous. So, especially when bloody Shakir was getting all the fucking catches earlier on. But no, it was a good. It was a surprising win, and it was a good win. So I'll take that. Obviously. Oh,
Good.
I'm like scraping away
Let's have a
because
wee look at
losing
the
Cup
table.
and losing Hingway. So, what the table?
Let's look at the table
So
then,
there you go.
Johnny. So yeah,
So I'm sitting in
you've got
seventh at
Sean
2 and
just.
1. So
I mean, that's fine. That's you're 2-1, and this is
yeah,
this one in contrast to the first division. There's seven on a winning record and 5 not on a losing record. You know, but listen, everyone's got to be either winning or losing at this point because it's week 3. You know, it's an odd number, so everyone's either winning or losing. There's no 50-50s, but yeah, it's wide open, and you know, Solheim Sharks are only 2 wins behind playoffs, so
and yeah, the White Tigers.
nothing
Yeah,
to
so
Whitehall
the
White.
Solihull
Oh,
Sharks
sorry,
have
it's
scored.
Whitehall White Tigers as well down there. So yeah, there's 2 of them, but in the Solihull Sharks. So yeah, I mean they're only 2 wins behind the playoffs, so no need to
Well, the
panic
Solihull
just yet.
Sharks have scored more points than the team in 6th, but they've
So
conceded
there you go.
674.
And some,
Yeah,
you know, throughout the season, you're going to score pretty well and run into a big score against you. It's just going to happen. Whether it happens at the start of the season, middle of the season, the end of the season, it's going to happen at some point. For me, you're better getting out of the way early, you know. I'd say the same with Luke as well, you know, he's 227 points this week. If you're going to score that week in, week out, you're going to make the playoffs. So
definitely.
you can't panic at
I'm
that.
just waiting for, well, if McCaffrey ever appears, and obviously, hopefully, Cup will be back because he'll be missing. So I'm missing 2 big players. So to get a win, I'm quite happy.
Massive players, Johnny. And that's the thing, if you can hang on in there and get yourself, you know, kind of in playoff contention, when those 2 come back, they'll put you over the edge. And, you know, that could be a title win, you know, that could be a title winning couple of players coming in, you know. So and of course they'll be coming in a lot fresher because they've been sitting off, so they'll have the energy, they'll have the legs, they'll not be banged up.
Hopefully. So we'll go on to your division next. We've got the Queen Hill. So we've got the Hot Dogs 192.95 against the Portsmouth Pirates, getting off the mark 240.42. The Lee Vikings 198.21, going 3-0 against the Preston Panthers 185.44. Darlington Rams 203.65, going 3-0 against the New Barnsley Masters 106.01. Leeds Leopards 201.23, going 3-0 as well against the Near Knights 171.23. Martin will be loving this one. 256.43. I think it's the highest one in the league. Going 3-0 up against yourselves, 170.48. Doug sneaking one in there, 184.78 against 181.26 Chicago Scorpions. Mainly thanks to Bobby Wagner, a couple of tackles late on to sneak him over the top there because he was he got a couple of late tackles by Bobby Wagner. I think it's Bobby Wagner. Yeah,
he
got a couple of tackles at the end.
Yeah.
But,
that got him over the line. I mean, it's a tight one, you know, so it's a close game.
This Yeah,
you know,
this could go either way if
Chicago
it comes to the
Scorpions,
thing, isn't
you've got Joe Burrow
it?
in your team, so you're never going to start Rodgers, you know, but I might not have got him over the line here. Actually, Burrow's had a good game there, but you know, Fairbairn's kind of fair kicked him in the balls a little bit with a 0, you know, and
Yeah,
Robinson, you're putting him in thinking should get should get something that all went to a tutu.
yeah. You got
So
one catch.
you know,
Yeah,
little bit disappointing for especially if it was too late tackles.
it was
If it was too late
yeah.
tackles for Wagner, that's
Because
got him
obviously I
over the
was
line there. That's
yeah,
he's just
I
stole
was
one. So
watching
yeah,
the game.
Chicago Scorpions. It's a sore one to take, and at that score as well, you know, it's kind of again, it's right in that middle for diddle. You know, if there was an OrkneyBowl league median, it would probably be about 180 to 185 points week in week out. You know, so
Yeah, well, probably actually. Yeah, you could
yeah,
probably. I could. Yeah,
it would take a
Dick's probably
lot of
worked it
scope
out.
to
You'll
stir that
add up all the scores and then divide it by a thing and work out the median for us.
yes, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, good
That's
one for
that man.
Doug, and it does put
Gets
him
him
2-1
2-1.
now as well.
Yeah. All right, we've got your one then,
And
Craig.
I mean, for mine, it's I mean, I lost mine with the 2 flex spots this week. I think I got 0.7 points from my flex spots.
Oh
And
yeah.
I overthought it again. You know, it's like you've Deontay Foreman. I overthought it. Shahid, it was only a matter of time before he had a goose egg. It really was. I mean, he's going to have his big weeks. He's going to have his bad ones. But when I seen that Martin had put in Hubbard, I was having a party. So I guess that one I deserve that. For, you know, but I mean, I can't be worried. Kelsey's worrying. Right, Ridley's a little bit worrying. But if you go down, my bench is okay. My bench is fine. Chase has showed up. Get Jefferson there. I mean, Jefferson was halfway to an absolute massive game, and it all went to pot in the second half. He didn't touch the ball in the second half. But I've
No.
got kind of cover on the bench. Not guys that I'm rushing to put in, but guys that can go in if they need to. And
Yeah.
obviously, I've got Pacheco and IR coming back. But what a week from Martin. I just ran into an absolute doozy. And 170 is not enough to win a week anyway. I was never really going to win it. But big
Plus he
week
only
for
had 4
Martin, you know, and
points at the
that's with
car.
Derek Carr.
So, and T Higgins. But
Carr had
he'll
an
be glad to
absolute.
get T Higgins back.
Right. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got T back as well, you know. And Kieran Williams, massive, you know.
Yeah.
What punts? Who cares? Rashid Rice as well. I mean, when's Rice going to miss time? Rice has got to miss time this year. He just has to.
I think it's
But
next
you know,
season. Is it not? I think so. I think he's got. I think
absolutely.
it'll be next season. You got
I'm not
Godwin,
convinced, but
Kincaid, Etienne, and Chubbard, obviously. Luke Wilson and Nick Cross.
Rice is obviously the absolute bona fide #1 target there for Patrick Mahomes now, and that can never be a bad thing. So yeah, I mean Martin's 3-0 now, and the team is looking solid. He's got Higgins playing now. You know, he went 2-0 without Higgins, so it can only get better in that sense. And he's avoided all the big injuries, so he'll be over the moon. Martin will be
Definitely.
over the moon with where he's sitting. As I say, I'm not killing myself over it, but at the same
There's
time,
only you've got 5 teams with winning
it's
records,
slightly
and 4
worrying.
of them are 3-0. That's
For
pretty
me, it's
mental.
slightly worrying that I've had two bad scoring weeks now out of 3. That's never good.
Yeah. But then if you have every second week a really high one, you probably still make the playoffs.
I mean, I'm not in any panic mode yet. It's 1 and 2, and I
I
still
know.
do like the team. There's no, you know, I can't be going off that much. I love Kyler Murray. You know, I think he's going to have massive weeks. 22 points a disappointment for me, I've got to say. I thought he would have done better against the Detroit defense, you know. But I mean, I'm delighted with Cook and the amount of touches he's getting. I'm delighted with Jefferson. I'm delighted that Chase is finally showing up. I'm still not going off Ridley, you know, so I'm fine. And Shahid can finally go on the bench. I mean, I couldn't bench him until he had the goose egg, you know, until he had the proper bad game. Now he's had the bad game. I can finally get him back on the bench. And if anyone wants a trade for Shahid, I'm not a massive fan of him. So, you know, it wouldn't cost you that much, but I would want someone that I can stick in the starting lineup. Yeah, there's three. We've got 3-0s in our division, Johnny.
Yeah.
There's Glenrothes, Nate Skulls, Darlington Rams, and Leeds Leopards.
Leeds Leopards. Come on, Matty, change your team name, man. Yeah, but if you see there, you're only in 7th spot by 0.1.
And Lee Vikings, by the way, and Lee Vikings are 3-0. So we only actually have 1-1. So this is a funky one in that we have 4 3-0s and only 1 2-1, and 4 of the 5 teams with winning records are 3-0. So that is slightly worrying for the 0-3s, in that there's 4 of them up there. You're now kind of looking at that and thinking, I'm 3 behind 4. That 5th and 6th spot I'm playing for now. So that is slightly worrying for the 0-3s because of the volume of the 3-0s that we have in this division. You need to go off the mark now, type thing. And at 1 and 2. I'm wanting to get moving as well. It's this week is a must win for me.
Let's see who's playing then. So the Hot Shots are playing the Pressing Panthers. That's 0-3 against 1 and 2. 1 and 2s are playing each other there. 2 3-0s playing against each other. You're playing Darlington Rams. 2 0-3s playing against each other. So either Joe or Austin will get on there, and then you've got 3-0 and 2-1. So you'll be hoping that Martin
it's a tough one for Dougie this week with the form that Martin's in right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm up against Sam, so we'll see how it goes. But there will be changes afoot in Edinburgh Packers, that's for sure. Starting with Shahid.
Shahid Getty. So we'll head on to the Mullhead Division 4. So this is the tie of the game. 173.10 against 172.68. Arthur is crossing his legs, his fingers, his toes. He doesn't get shafted by a score correction again like he did last year. Because this one, Graham was leading all the way until right near the end, I think, when Arthur sneaked in the win there. So it's 173 to 172, 172.96 to 186.98. Lancashire Legends over Kirkwood Chargers. Aberdeen Bucks 3-0, 243.67 against the Workshop Those Rookies, 134.39. Pez gets a nice win there, 199.20. Preston Hawks against the Yorkshire Los Muertos, 165.55. Rotherham Raiders also 3-0, 211.01 against 189.68 the Bedford Brewskis. Edinburgh Thunderbirds, they're now 2-1 after being 2-0, 136.18. I think they were the highest score last week in this division. Now possibly the lowest, up against 182.71 the Bottom Bears. So they went
let's see what happened. Yeah, 2-3-0s here. Let's see what happened there then with the Edinburgh Thunderbirds. And I'm surprised we've not actually seen this more this week, I've got to say, because the scorers in week 2 and the scorers in week 3 were very much vastly different, So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of teams who won in week 2, lost in week 3, and vice versa, But let's see what happens.
It's happened in Division 2 because obviously I beat the week before Division 1. You were the highest one the week before and lost in a year. So I'm not sure about the first division, but the next 3 divisions have all gone the other way. But obviously it's had Ty Chandler.
Yeah. Williams.
Xavier
Collins had a quiet week. Worthy had a quiet week. Meyer done that. It's a shame. I feel bad for Meyer, I've got to say, because by all accounts, he is a top tight end, but Bowers is just the man. He's a beast. So the chances of him getting a whole lot are not massive,
So obviously you'll get Love back.
Jordan Love's coming back this week, so he'll be delighted he's getting Love.
So he's not going to play him. So
no. So
obviously no Joku, no Jordan.
Lost Kittle. So yeah, it's a big fall from last week, but
it's a good win for Bottom Bears, though.
You hang your hat on the fact that you had that, you scored those points last week. Therefore, you know that your team can score. They've just had an off week. It's only week 3. It's going to happen. And good win for Bottom Bears. Got to move 2-1 as well, and more so must be delighted about Daniel's performance. That's rookie quarterback. So
and Neighbours.
Very good game for him so early on in his career. And Neighbours is just an absolute beast, isn't he?
Oh yeah, it's nice to watch. But
Yeah, I
then
mean, I
we've
think
got a
he's
lot of
going to be
Ravens.
magnificent this season.
Obviously, Jay Flowers might do more. And Jigma had a quiet week because usually he's been getting more targets, but not this week. Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
I was very indifferent with JSN this season when a lot of people were very high on him, but it's one of those ones where I just didn't think Lockett was done yet, and I was proved to be correct. Geno Smith cannot feed all three of them, and Fant's getting touches as well. So, kind of JSN is the one that's going to lose out for me there until such times as the veterans kind of really start to show decline. I think JSN's just going to be the one that loses out there. I mean, there's Ferguson
Well,
on the bench, so that's a good one to be bringing in. And how you can leave Hutchison on the bench after the week he had last week? I mean,
I know. Still
I
got
will
another
never
sack,
know.
2 QB hits. Yeah, that was a bit crazy, that one. But yeah, still he got the win. That's the
Yeah,
main thing.
good
He's
one for the
2-1.
Bears.
Let's see how Pez got on then. So Derek Carr didn't do much. Hall's obviously not much. Akers got a touchdown, but didn't do much else apart from that. It was against a hard
Yeah, he was
defense.
disappointing.
Yeah, well,
I,
you're
I
looking at
went
it.
big
It's up
with
against the
Akers.
Minnesota defense. So Drake
I went big
London,
with
Stefan
Akers and
Diggs,
DraftKings thinking he was going to score a barrel load, and they were chasing the game in the end was the thing, wasn't it? It was,
yeah.
the Vikings have showed that they're actually legit this season, which it's not taking me by surprise per se, but okay, it's taking me by surprise. There's nothing else to say, but
Especially with
hopefully they get
Darnold
a
under
bloody wins
center.
this
But
week.
yeah. But yeah, how are you feeling about this week's game?
I mean, it's very, very. I wouldn't say confident, but optimistic. I would say, it's we tend to do very well against our divisional rivals. I know Detroit spanked us about a bit last year, but in general, we do very well against the divisional rivals. And yes, they've been good, the Vikings, but I don't think, it's still Sam Darnold. So I think if Love's back and he gets it going and he finds a way to score on that Vikings defense, I think we'll be fine.
Oh, it's in Green Bay, isn't it? Is it in Green Bay this week?
Green Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay, so it's not in the Dome.
So we got Singletary as well, Tyler Bass, Okereke, and David. So,
Yeah, it's a
nice
great week
one,
for Fez,
Pez. 2
isn't it?
points.
It's a great week from it. Let's see how long he hangs about with Travis Kelce in at tight end as well. He's got that decision to make, same as me, and he's got Fryermuth there, who's kind of done okay. And let's see how far he goes with the Derek Carr experiment.
Well, who else has
I
he
mean,
got?
he's got many options on the bench here as well. He's got, Eckler's hurt now,
Walker.
isn't he? But he's
You
got
knew he was going to
Walker
get
coming back
Walker.
very soon. And
He's
Sutton and
got McLaurin.
McLaurin, it's time to put Terry in, I would say. Time to put Fryermuth into tight end and Terry in for Kelce. That would be my advice for what it's worth.
You never thought you would say that before the season started, how much you would totally down him the mouth, but yeah.
No, I know, but it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still not a big fan of the Moose. I don't think he's going to be much of it, but he'll chuck in, kind of 16, 17 points. He'll get a few catches, and it's something that Kelce doesn't seem to be doing at the moment.
See, Yorkshire were better. They lost Herbert, and did much. James Cook, they took the gamble on Johnson, didn't do much. Labby had a good game. Metcalf had a good game. Brock Bowers didn't have a great game. Still got 11 points. CeeDee Lamb will have better games. The lad McConkey had a couple of nice catches. The kicker got 5 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Depends. Yeah, and
Angeloni was.
He didn't have a kicker in the defence in his IDP. You could have Quay Walker. It wouldn't have made a difference, but with a bit more respectful. But so he's still 1-2. It's not that bad. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a decent lineup there, so it's nothing to be panicky about yet with that lineup, So yeah, I mean they're how many have we got 3-0 in here? 2 3-0s, isn't it?
2 3-0s and 3 2-1s.
How many 2-1s? 3 2-1s. So it's again, there's only five teams with a winning record in this division, So
and with 1
all
1
to play
3
for.
for Gary.
And the 103 is well, it's one win behind playoffs. That's all you got to think. It's. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's a long way for Gary and his team, but it's still 1 behind playoffs. That's how
You've got
you
to
got
be
to
in
look
mind.
at it.
Arthur's already crossing his fingers and his toes and his legs and getting the missus to cross her
And that's
legs,
the thing.
hoping there's no score correction on Thursday because it is a close one.
And if there is, then it's flipping that as well, and that he's the 0-3 and Gary's up to 1 and 2 as well. So it's it is certainly all to play for. And
when did it change last night? Pretty sure he had Joanne Jennings in his team.
I mean, Joanne Jennings is what's won him this game by a country mile, absolute country mile. Joanne Jennings has won this game for him. And again, it's you deserve to if you've got them and you've put them in, you deserve those points because it was a smart move to do. But I see how people can hold off on it. If you've got like a kind of Chris Sutton who's a number one, or a kind of Mike Evans or a Travis Kelce sitting in the flex. To put Jennings in over one of these types of guys is very difficult to do. But
Oh yeah,
if
he
you
had a
have done
lead
so,
last
you've
night,
done so correctly.
and he was hanging on because Gary had Coleman and Thomas playing.
Oh, so he did, yeah. So
hanging on.
Wouldn't have taken much more from either to get him over the line there as well.
Well, Coleman only got one target because of that far ahead. I don't think Allen played the first drive in the second half. Then he never played the rest of the game. I think he was already thrown like 5 touchdowns and scored 5 million bloody points.
No, I
They
didn't
do much
I've not
throwing
seen
after
anything
that at
of it.
all. So
I didn't see any
it
of
was
it
all
at all.
run.
So,
Well, I
but
should have
yeah,
both
I mean,
of them
it's as I say, at 0-3, you're only 1 game behind the playoffs. It is no time to panic whatsoever. And yeah, the 3-0 is. It's good to be 3-0, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And that's the East Conference done then, Johnny. That's
Yeah, then we'll go on to the West Conference. We've got Happy Valley. So last week's team of the week, when he got 200 far too many points, he got Gothenburg Angels got 176.79 and lost this week to 188.77. The Bognor Regis Balkans. Purple Cowboys, they lost 191.33 to 199.30. The South London Rebel, the Rousey Cup winners, they're now 3-0. Yeovil winners 146.33 to the Melbourne Supremacy, also 3-0, 236.79. Bonnyrigg Cowboys, Graham Boy, 216.48, got off the mark against the Turbo Bowl Titans, 201.81. You've got the Kirkwall Raiders, Al 169.71 up against the Royal Raiders, 3-0, 184.13, and the Darlow Destroyers, 276.28, the highest scorers of the week. I'm pretty sure that one, against the Whitford Educators, 169.02. So that's our second. Last week it was Gothenburg Angels, it's the Darlow Destroyers this week, I think.
So it is, yeah. So it's but again, another massively top scoring team last week, scoring a whole lot less this week, and it's going to be Ridley, it's going to be Kelce, it's going to be, these are the kind of guys that are going to be there. Maybe Pacheco on the bench now because he's injured. There you go, Ridley. As I said, Stevenson, that was another one that I could have easily said. 2 massive weeks in a week.
Yeah.
So it is very much, I mean, it's back down to
Jalen Hurts
bump is what it is. And I had the same bump as well, but it's nothing to panic about. It's nothing to. These guys are all going to come good again. They will score their points. It just worries me ever so slightly that they're also going to have weeks where they don't score their points, and rightly so. Ridley's just got a bad quarterback thrown to him, etc. And it just worries me that one of those weeks pops up in playoff time. If you get there, it's you can get away with it in the regular season. Them having off weeks, but once we get to playoff time, they need to be firing. So I'm hoping that they get more consistent as the season goes on.
So we'll look at this one. So obviously
Graham
gets off the mark. So this is a battle of the 0-2. So I feel sorry for Everett. He got 201 points and
lost.
But
when you score over 200 it's a harsh week, you know. But again, you're scoring over 200 points, and over 200 points going to win you more weeks than it loses you. So it's just one of those things, you know. But there, Graham's got Gibbs and Williams, you know. That tells me that he was drafting kind of 11th or 12th in this league, because that's
He
kind
was
of, you can
12th.
get Gibbs then and then take Williams on the way back round, you know. So
I think Graham was
I think
picked 12, so he would have went Gibbs and Williams 1 and 2.
grand job he's done getting those two. You know, I think those two will be massive for him if they stay fit all season long. You know, Cooper's, you know, Watson doesn't look like a decent quarterback, but Cooper still looks like he's going to be productive, so that's got to be a good thing. Tells finally showed up for the, you know, as we've said before. You know, Kincaid's finally got a little bit of something. So yeah, I mean, things look on the up for Graham. You know, it's the team's starting to take shape nicely.
Well, Everett will be happy because his number 1 pick finally got turned up and got some catches with Jamar Chase, but then his second round pick and his third round pick, the 2 old men that you were slagging him off about, scored 18 points between them. So
again, it's the Adams-Evans combination, isn't it, where it's a worrying thing for me. They'll both have good weeks, but they'll both have bad weeks. And if they both have bad weeks in the same week, chances are you're heading in for a loss. And that, you know, 200 plus points with those two having bad weeks, you know.
Yeah.
So
you got Ferguson back though, so you'll be happy with that.
So he drafted better
Obviously,
later
he was missing Walker.
You know, and he's. But yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad team. He doesn't have to worry yet. But
the thing is, he's got no injuries, so
well, he's got Kenneth Walker's out, so you get Kenneth Walker back. That'll help him.
Oh, you'll get Walker back. Sorry, yeah, but be courage of your convictions. You know, there's no major injuries there other than Walker, but he'll be coming back now. So that's the team that you drafted because you believed in them. So believe in them. You know, it's only week 3. And
don't listen
of
to
course,
Craig when you
Aaron's,
flag
you
you
know,
up about picking up the old boys. So yeah, up against.
I mean, listen,
I did see Alan in the car park in Tesco's last week, so he can blame me for this one if he wants.
Well, I mean, it's 184 points. It's right on that smack bang average again, isn't it? So Aaron's got quite lucky that he's hit that score kind of 3 weeks in a row now and won 3 weeks in a row.
That's another
It
one.
will get
James
from
Conner,
time to
4
time.
points. Tyreek Hill, White.
Rashad White doing next to nothing, you know, that's
Likely.
therein lies the issue, you know, and Aaron's just been solid, you know, they're all scoring solid, none of them's knocked out of the park. Richardson's obviously a bit of a worry, but you know, you'll be delighted with 27 from Moss, but the rest of his team there, and Charbonnet obviously with Walker out, but that's an anomaly, Walker being out when he comes back, he's not scoring 34 points. So yeah, I mean, he's got Roma Doomsday on the bench there, does Aaron, and Mandela as well sitting down there, you know. So the bench is pretty, you know, he does have a couple of options there on the bench for when Charbonnet goes, etc. So I mean, he's got to be delighted sitting 3, you know, but
so
in the Division 1 as well, so he's playing for the title.
Alan's got Tyler Conklin on the bench, and he played Isaiah Likely.
Did he?
So
Yeah.
19-point swing.
Again, you got to wait for Conklin to announce himself, though. You know, it's he's done absolutely nothing for long enough that you got to wait for him to announce himself. Now he's announced himself, you put him in. You know, Likely
you can't blame Alan
because
Likely was on Alan's bench in week 1. Obviously, because of what happened, he had to put him in, and well, he's not really done anything.
And that's what you do. And now he's had 2 weeks of absolutely nothing. So you put Conklin in, and I absolutely guarantee you, like he's off his rocker next week, and Conklin does tiddly squat. But anyway, Division 1's looking very good, you know, and it's Division 1, so it's, you know, these were the top players from last year in all the divisions, so it's going to be very competitive. It's going to be open, you know, and so it has started. You know, the top 2 scorers the last 2 weeks, the top scorer of the last 2 weeks have both came out of this division, so one to keep an eye on as the season goes on for sure.
The 5 teams with a winning record. So 3-3, 3-3-0s, 2-2-1s, and there's 2 0-3s, and the rest are 1 and 2s. So it's pretty even about. So. But yeah,
again, the 0-3s are one game off playoffs, 1 win off playoffs.
I know. So nothing to worry about yet, Everett. We're okay. So
no panic, man. It's early doors. There will be. I guarantee you, there will be one or two teams throughout these divisions. There will be one or two teams who make the playoffs from 0-3. There will be. There will be
South London.
A few.
So South London Rebels had picked up Joanne Jennings and didn't play him, but he still won anyway. You still, but it was closer than. You won by 8 points. It could have been a lot better if he'd played him and won by about 48 points, but 58 points.
I mean, it's no harm, no foul, but I just don't see the mentality of picking up Jennings last week or having Jennings already on your bench and not starting him when Debo and Kittle are both out. It's like, why is he there then?
He picked him up on Sunday morning, the 22nd. So he picked him up that morning, but he didn't play him.
So I like
he didn't need to in the end, but it was probably closer than he probably would have wanted. But he got the win. That's all that matters. Yeah, you play him next week.
Exactly. Listen, you only need to beat the team in front of you. I mean, listen, what do I know? I don't diddly squat. I'm crap at this game. Do you know what I mean? But it's just the thought process of I'm going to grab him, but I'm not going to start him. So
this one is obviously Derek won't be looking forward to this one. So we have the second division, Maze Howe. We've got the Kilmarnock Kings, 160.91 against 175.08, the Portland Lumberjacks. Southampton Dockers, 177.55, although it's got Southampton at 194.37, the Belfast Benchwarmers. Then you've got Lancashire Bombers, 199.38, up against the Dickens Heath Demons, 208.616. The Crew Juggernauts, 242.05, just completely running over the South Carolina Broncos to 215.58. Another heartbreaker loss for that one.
100 plus,
White Warriors, 151.74 against the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads, 222.41. The Dobos, Darlow's Diamonds, now that he changed his name, thank you, 170.65 to the Glasgow Lightning, Mr. Dreve, 237.63. So he's 2-1. So it's one. Yes. How many 3-0? 2 3-0 still.
2 3-0.
So we'll have to look at the.
So I mean, again, this was not that many teams over 200, and then you've got the one team, the Carolina Broncos that have scored 215 points. It's enough to win 80% of the games in the OrkneyBowl last week, not just the division. And they run into a juggernaut. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well, so very, very unlucky for the South Carolina Broncos. It's got to be said. Even with Jennings in the team,
Henry, Montgomery, Jefferson, Rice, all getting, and then you've got Charbonnet down there as well, and Moore. Defenders doing okay.
I mean,
but at least you played Jennings. That was one thing. But Algier, I wonder what's wrong with his running backs. Oh, Ridley. There's another one. Ridley.
There's the Kelsey Ridley effect as well, which was effective against me as well. And he's defend, the defenders are often an afterthought, but there you go. It's 19 points, and
compared to 26.
You're losing by 5 or 6 points here, and 5 or 6 points can be the difference sometimes. And I mean, those 19 points, there's a lot of defenders are scoring that on their own, and both those defenders will score a lot more points than that. It's just that they've had an off week, and that's going to happen with some of these guys. It's like Parsons is very kind of get to the quarterback dependent, really. So there'll be weeks where he scores absolutely massive, but there will be weeks where he doesn't score a whole lot.
Well, he's up against Daniel Jones this week, so he might get some points this week. Then you got Ridley, Kelsey. He played Algier. He's obviously really short of running backs because he's got Aaron Jones and Algier.
I mean, Algier there'll be weeks where he'll score. There just won't be enough of them there. That's not a backfield like the Jets with Hall and Allen, or Montgomery and Gibbs in Detroit. That is a 1 and a 2. Now, don't get me wrong. The 2 in Algier will get points. Some weeks he will have big weeks. He will get touches every week.
He did last week, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
But,
And that's why he's in there this week, I guarantee you, because I almost did it. I literally almost put him in.
He
He had
got
a
2
massive
point
week last
first
week.
week, 11, and then 4. So
11.
7
So,
point difference.
you
But
know, it's very much. But I almost put him in this week because he got a lot more touches last week. But I'm glad I didn't. And yeah, Crew Juggernaut's great win, and poor DK,
there you
looks
go,
like he's
Derek.
Kilmarnock. It's hit the pooper.
160.91 up against, so 14 point loss. Where did you go wrong? Well, you played Peering.
He went wrong with and there's where he went wrong right off the bat. He's got a quarterback running back stack, and I know it gets a lot of catches, but I hate that stack. I really do.
Peering and
In the
Evans.
sense of quarterback and running back, I don't like stacking quarterback and running backs. And I mean, Mike Evans is there. He's thrown a lot of dices there as well. You know.
Yeah. Oh, well, he is
I'm not
missing
a big
Walker
fan of
and
rolling.
Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Walker and Cup are two massive losses, you know, and massive point scorers, and Love there as well, was if I've seen correctly there. But yeah, it's
No, Love's on the other side.
Swift's on the bench, so that's a good thing. But I mean, you know, Evans there again. It's going to be kind of good week, bad week. But I mean, he's going to have much
Fred
better
Warner
weeks. As
usually does
Derek,
more.
you know,
So
it's
Fred
not a
Warner's went
complete
15,
disaster for him.
32, 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
you
a
know,
disaster, but
it's fine. It's only 100. The worry is that it's only 160 points. You know, the same as my worry is mine's is only 170. Week 1, I was only 156. But week 2, I was 250 odd, you know. So it's what ones do you read into? So at this stage of the season, you know, no one's out of it completely. He overthought it here with Perrine and then Parkinson too. And I think Tyler Johnson's playing, you know. So that's 3 guys he's putting in
Parkinson was his
because
tight
other
end.
players are out. Yeah, but it's
Well,
still kind of.
Yeah, well, it was Parkinson basically scored more points than his other tight end. So he did that right because it was Dawson Schultz. But he's got a headache this week. Does he play Jared Goff against Seattle defense, which is pretty good, or does he play Baker Mayfield against the Eagles defense? So
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I would if I've got Goff, I'm never putting Mayfield in over Goff. I'm just not. I think the offense is just too.
Well, it's at home, so that's one thing. But yeah, he's not been the best so far this year, but he's still got 3 yards.
Not.
So
He he's been poor, but I am not giving up on Jared Goff yet. He's done it for over too many years to show that
he threw 55 times a week 2. 55 attempts for 34, 307, 2 interceptions. But yeah, but it's good to see Amon Ra back in it.
So getting away from it.
Amon Ra's catching the ball now.
He's the type of player for me who will sort it out and get it right. Do you know what I mean? He's went through adversity in his career. He has been written off and such, you know. So I'm not worried about Goff yet. I have to say, I don't think he's going to be the MVP that I maybe boldly bid at the start of the season. But he's going to do just fine, and he's going to be he's going to score a lot of fantasy points, you know. So it's no need to panic about Jared Goff right now.
So here we go.
So how many 0-3s we got in here, Johnny? Sorry, how many was it?
We've got 2 0-3s. We've got 2 3-0s. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 2-1s, and obviously 4 1-2. So yeah, it's pretty evenly split down the.
I mean, they all
the highest scorers.
It's a very, very similar pattern that the divisions are all showing at the moment. You know, they will start breaking off. And what's going to get interesting very soon is they always have to go on both sides. You know, they always will go. No one will go 14-0, and no one will go 0-14. I just cannot see that possibly happening unless they're like an 0-14 properly chucks it. I just cannot see that happening at all, you know. So they always have to go, and that's when kind of, and they will start to go week 4, week 5, week 6. I'll be surprised if they get to week 7. All those, I think everyone will lose by week 7 for me.
Last year, it went to week 10, was it not?
Someone went late.
Yeah.
Someone went late. I remember that someone
It
went
might have
late.
even been the Edinburgh Thunderbirds, but I could be wrong. It was a team there. They went late. I think they did run a couple near the end, but it was a long because you had a few lost to start, did you not?
Oh, I was terrible last year.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah.
Let's have a look at Division 3 now then, Johnny. And see what's happening in when did the cup game start, Johnny? Sorry to interrupt it.
We're on week 3 of the Rousey Cup. Yeah, I've not had a chance to put this week's scores in for the week 3, but I can get it up and you can have a look at the first 2 weeks' games. But I've not had a chance to fill in the tables and that. But I think I lost to Doug in week 3 of our division game by about 0.2. Thanks to that tackle. You bugger. Yeah, but yeah, I'll get it updated. I'll maybe do something tomorrow for it. But yeah. So we've got the Blue Toon Peterhead Bloody Jets 193.36 against the Wakefield 49ers 204.78. Darlington Dragons 165.28 against the London Eagles 199.21. Chester Hurricanes, who were the top week 1 and went down, and they've won nearly 200 again this week, 199.43 against 126.78. Nottingham Rebels. The Gorgie Vikings 177.75 against the 3-0 Birmingham Master Chiefs 220.57. Unbelievably, I don't know how, the Carvite Porkers 190.91 against the Guildford Raptors 154.46. The Norwich Mustard Men 223.79 against the 223.45. Oh, yeah, bugger. But this could be an interesting score correction one if it happens. So that's
0.34 per win.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's literally, see if the 49ers were winning and Purdy taking a knee, that's what would have cost them this game. In fact, do you know what cost them this game? Purdy's fumble. That's what cost them this game. That's nuts. That's such a close game and so unlucky for the Sandbach Satans, that's for sure. But Norwich Mustard Men must be proper cheesing in this one, you know. Anybody playing last night?
The fact Daniel Carson missed a field goal, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Oh, TJ Mosley. He
didn't
playing.
Play any left in Mosley. Was Mosley out, was it? Yeah.
Call it. He didn't have any player on the bench anyway, so.
Yeah, you can pick one up easily enough, though. He left Higgins on the bench there, so
Naylor,
glad that he's back. Sutton there on the bench, Shakir on the bench. I mean, it's a heck of a bench that in itself, you know. Gabe Davis as well. He'll have games. Naylor's looking like, you know, what he certainly made a name for himself with Addison out. So be interesting to see what happens when Addison comes back. Yeah, it's a heck of a bench that.
Yeah, and Sutton
has still scored 220 odd points.
Jesus,
you know.
But yeah, there's not really much letting down in that team.
No, it's Kelsey, one of those ones where
Dave Flowers.
Kelsey massively let them down, but you know, but it's a strong team, and it's just very unlucky that it's been pipped by a nostril this week. So yeah, as I say, Norwich Mustard Men will be delighted, and with Cook and Williams, that's a running back room and a half, and that's with Lamb doing next to nothing, you know. And Lamb's obviously the man who's going to he'll do a lot more than that going forward. So yeah,
Collins didn't do much
both teams in a good position despite the loss for the Sandbach Statons. Both teams in very good positions, but with the lineups, you know.
I'll have to look at Port's
How's he winning? How's he won a game with this team?
He's won
How's he won 2 with this team?
2-1. Prescott, Taylor, Perrine.
He's ran into Swift, Foreman, Smith, Pittman, Shahid. There's how he's won this game. I mean, that's just a who's who of who done terrible this week.
Kelly said on Monday, the Pork and Pez show, that he's predicted to lose by 40 points, and he won by 40. So that would be by because of all that.
Absolute.
No.
Predictions mean nada. Absolutely nada. But yeah, Shahid be a 0, you know. Pittman be next to nothing. Smith be next to nothing. I'll be no surprised to see a Stevenson in the flex, but no. Shahid in the flex. No, it's not.
Chase and Jigba in the flex. So
Yeah, so I mean, it's just that's just one of those weeks where they all had an off week. You know, I don't see any major issues in there. He'll have more start back soon, hopefully for him. You know, Warren's maybe out now, Eckler maybe out now, and as for Pork, yeah, I mean he's got Ferguson on the bench there, he's got Parsons on the bench that are more than capable of coming
on
in.
the bench. So.
Braden Allen on the bench. It's a big one. I see he's got a lot less defenders on the bench this week. He's maybe listening.
Yeah, he's obviously dropped a couple, but I wonder if he picked up Jalen Wright. And maybe
I think he's picked up Jalen Wright. I think he's picked up Brandon Allen, Brayson Allen, or whatever he's called. I think he's picked him up this week.
Yeah.
Brandon Allen.
We can have a look at that in a minute.
But yeah, good week. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great week for him and a great win. You know, 190 points, and at 2-1, do not rule out the Pork. You know,
no,
do not rule out the Pork.
So, but that it was a good win. I just can't believe. Yeah. But he did this last year. He did really well, and he came up with some good scores. So let's see what happens.
Don't get me wrong. It's all about managing it, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if Grote's left some players in. He's not a big sleeper fan. I don't think he's in sleeper very often. We need to encourage him to get in here a whole lot more. Has he made his changes? Yes, I mean Stevenson's just one of those. It's a one-off. Stevenson. Don't panic about Stevenson. Panic about more. I'd be more panicked about McBride.
Yeah, he's been
just because Murray's not doing badly, but McBride's not getting the touches. They're going to Harrison. They're going to Wilson. You know, he's bringing Dortch into it. So that would be my bigger worry there. You know, than anything else. But Charbonnier is going to have to go soon. You know, because when Walker comes back, I think he's
back. He
had a good week there. Week 2, he wasn't so great. You know, and I'm not convinced.
He was good in the passing game. He didn't do much running last week, but he did okay at catching, I think.
He's not the best in the ground, is he?
He had 14 for 38, but he had 5 for 5 for 31 in the ground. So he still got 22 points, but it's mainly for the first down. He got a touchdown. I think it was from like a yard out. But,
yeah, he got 2 this week as well. So that's what makes it. You know, touchdowns.
18 for 91.
Make differences.
Yeah,
touchdowns make differences for sure.
And rushing first downs, but yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it just on the other side, he's ran into neighbours. I mean, Waddle's obviously an issue. Wilson's maybe, I mean, Wilson's not an issue because he's fit as a fiddle. You know, it's you've got to have again. It's another one of those courage your convictions, isn't it? But when you've got Allen and Barkley, Mason's going to be scoring a lot of points over the next few weeks. There's no getting away from it. Neighbours there, you can cover Waddle, and Wilson will score his points. You know, Waddle maybe not so much until Tua comes back. So, but you've got cover for that there. Zamir White's such a disappointment, isn't he? I mean, he's just been an absolute disaster this year. And
somebody tried to fob him off to me as well. I was like, no. I don't know.
I'd rather have no about him, but I expected a lot better than what he's given, So and
the way he finished last year, definitely, because the last few games last year he was immense, but this year
he was really good. Yeah, that's it.
But
so yeah, I mean, it's not panic time for Grote. He's not getting any major issues, but yeah, good win for Birmingham Master Chiefs. So let's hit the last division then, Johnny. Let's see what's happening in Division 4.
Well, we've not done the standings. 2 3-0s. Did we? No.
Well, we did. We done them.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm sure we've done them. Corgi Vikings is a 0-3. The only 0-3.
No, it's not. The Blue Toon the Chris is also 0-3. There's 2 0-3.
Sorry, maybe we didn't then. Go back to Division 3. Show me the division. Sorry, I thought we'd ran through them.
No, because there's 2 3-0s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's similar to the division before, but we've got the Peterhead Bloody Jets, who have come up against 676 points. So they've been pretty unlucky. They've come up against some bloody high-scoring teams.
Yeah, that's a bit
So,
harsh, isn't it? It's
yeah.
that's just points that you're running into. It's that wouldn't worry me. That would worry me, and also what would worry me for Mark is the 515 for. So a lot of work to be done there for Mark as well. So Mark and Grote
Yeah,
have
but
got their
then
work cut out for them.
the Guildford Raptors have
But at
only
the
had
same,
458. Page has only got 469, yet he's
yeah,
2-1. It's just the way it falls.
it's just the way it falls from time to time. But I mean, they'll get their wins. Mark and Grote will both get their wins, and they'll both, it's got to be sooner rather than later now, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. So now we'll go to the Dwarfish team. So we've got Blue Toon Texans, another one of our Show Me the Money boys, 0-3, but 204-36 come up against the Lagersville Lemon, who did actually change his team after I mentioned it last week. So sorry about that, Blue Toon. 216.27. The Gloucester Wolfpack 220.23 to 241.41. The Q Kings, they changed their name from the Richmond Reds. That's two games all over 200. Then you got 192.77 Rainy Cardinals against 191.19 Court Red Army. By the Bangham Sharks 145.48 got Archie's handed them by the Not Cold Knockouts 190.58. Then the Manchester Spinners 198.11 against 175.40 Galway Patriots, and the Birmingham Bears 215.78 against the Plymouth Assassins 155.61. So you've got two games all over and one game within 1 and a bit points.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit hard. Two teams losing me over 200 points. That's the only division we've seen that in this week. So that's a bit harsh.
So 220 points against 241. That is a sore one.
I mean, with this one, you've really just ran into one. Is what's happened here.
Look at that.
Your team's probably the best it could have been. And you've just ran into a massive score. And 240 points is a massive score.
Prescott, Taylor, Barkley, Sutton, Lazard, all going above estimation. Cooper likely did nothing. Pittman, but then you got Metcalf on the flex.
It just goes to show that you can score big scores and not have everyone perform. It doesn't take everyone in the team to perform to score well.
No. Well, we had 36-point Purdy on the bench.
And that was without Mixon, by the way. The winning team here, the Q Kings, that's without Mixon. Mixon being injured and on the bench, so that's a good one to be coming back in. And I don't think Mixon's out for long. I hope Mixon's not out for long. So that's massive for him too. But looking down you got Allen there as well, which is one to keep an eye on for the Gloucester Wolfpack. So yeah, I mean, both teams must be happy with certainly the lineups that they have. They must be happy that they've scored the points this week. And they must be praying for all that is holy that they don't have it doesn't go the same as last week to this week did, because it'll be a massive turnaround again. And that's the thing that all of these if you look at last week to this week, and it was just
I'm looking back at the Blue Toon Texans. They've been pretty close to every game. This is the second week in a row they've been over 200 points, and they've lost.
Is it and lost?
And they're 0-3. It's just unlucky, like.
That is just that's unlucky. That's if you're consistently scoring over 200 points, you're going to be in the shake up for the playoffs come the run in. So it's not something to worry about. And I'm not seeing any injuries there. He's going to have to give up on Swift at some point or another pretty quickly.
But then Bucky Irving came in and did well. But whether that's because they were getting humped and he got more of the ball later on, but he looked good when he came in.
That doesn't bother me though,
so he'll come back.
Because he certainly showed more. Bucky Irving showed more than Rashid White did in that game, and that can only be good for Bucky Irving and touches for Bucky Irving.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got, Kim, what we say about the defensive ends, then he's got the best points.
No, that's
Hank Allen's a good defender, but you've got to play the linebackers. The
problem about defensive ends for me is they're kind of when it's a passing play, when it's a run play, they're kind of obviously they're getting first shot at the back per se. But see, when it's a passing play, they're opening the hole up for the linebackers to come through and get the tackle, and that's why they're not scoring the points as much, because they seem to be their more job is to open the hole up for the linebacker to get through to the quarterback, and that's why they don't score as much as linebackers for me.
But he's going to lose Smith with concussion this week, and I can't imagine he'll be playing. He's got Swift playing on the bench. Maybe he has to play Berkey Irvin in the flex this week. Because obviously it'll be good when he gets Pacheco back. Got Polk, Williams, Judy.
He has got some decisions to be made, I think Judy's going to have to come in this week as well, because for me, you cannot be playing Swift. He's a busted flush for me. Chew up the 40-point game for Swift this week, but
I think Rashawn Johnson did better than him this week. Is it Johnson did?
If I had Swift in any league, which I don't, I would put him to agency. I would just drop him. I wouldn't even try and trade for him. I would drop him.
So obviously the Lagavulin Lemon changed their team this week. Got rid of McCaffrey and their other players out, and ended up with a nice start with Allen, Hubbard, White, and Waddle. Myers.
They didn't change, right? Yeah. And look what happens when you go in and check your team.
Let's see who they had last week, because the team didn't change. Where are they? You see them?
Yep, second one. Top one now.
Right.
Top one now.
So they had McCaffrey. He's been taken out. Obviously, they had Cup been taken out. Ingram out. Addison out. So when you change your team, you go from 132 to 216. So yeah, that made a big difference.
Makes a difference, doesn't it, when you've got all starting players in your starting lineup? So yeah,
great
win for them. Great win for them. And then there's a real close one here. Let's last one we'll look at. Let's look at the real close one.
192.77 up against 191.19. So yeah, so
it is more than a point, but
but some players go up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, it could change that price correction.
Gus the Bus.
Let's more look at the benches here to see what.
Oh man, Chase Brown could have been playing instead of Gus the Bus. Would he won the game?
You're not going to play him over to Gus the Bus, so there's no blame attached there. You can't play him over Gus the Bus, and take me down to the bench again because he's got Hurts there. Yeah, right enough. You could have guessed.
Because you've got Dobbins is getting most of the carries, so Gus the Bus is like stalled. But yeah, he's got
Johnson having
Brown
a couple
out, David Njoku out. But he's got 3 kickers.
Well, therein lies your problem. You've got no options on the bench because there's 3 kickers. That's the problem. So you've got to play these players. But yeah, Chris Brown could have went, and I guess I would have played Gus the Bus over him though. But yeah, great win for Ryan Cardinals. It's always nice to win one like that. Just steal one. We, obviously got to wait to Thursday for it to be confirmed, which is a tad annoying. But he'll be delighted that he's just stole that one. And it's kind of that's when things are going your way, when you win a tight one like that. With and he's got Pop Douglas there, who's started scoring again, which he'll be delighted about. So yeah, no harm, no foul there.
Both the new boys have gone 2-1. The knockouts are 190 points, and obviously Birmingham Bears. That's Mark Dodson, who's in Division 2, his son. So he's also 2-1 after 215 points. So
yeah, that's a good run for him.
We've got 1-3-0 here and 5-2-1.
Only 1-3-0, and this is like 6-6. 6 winning records, 6 losing records, but 1-3-0. So
this 3-0 could end up being 2-1 depending if there's a score correction. So it could be no 3-0.
Well, of course, because this would be the first division to lose all the losing O's anyway. So
I do feel sorry for 584 points have scored, which is more than 11, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, and 4. They've scored more points than all of those teams that come up against it. Yeah, keep your head up.
For Michael.
With those points, yeah, you can't not get climbing up there pretty quickly.
Even at 0-3, I'd be confident of making the playoffs, scoring that amount of points first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it's just an anomaly that he's ran into some scores, but he'll get on a winning run soon for me, and we'll soon see Michael shooting up that division.
Let's see. I'll have the.
And there we go, Johnny. Week 3 in the bag already. It's week 3 already. Can you believe that?
That is a bit mental.
Next week we're a quarter of the way through the regular season. Well, nearly. Quarter. You need half a week to go by before, but in fact, no, we're more than a quarter of the way through the regular season next week because it's week 4 out of 14. So yeah, I mean, it's time for people to start making a move. You know, it's time to start.
I've got the Rousey Cup up for you, Craig, but I've not updated it today.
Oh my
the Group 1,
Johnny. You've only got
the
5 more minutes.
knockouts have actually. So this week it would have been Plymouth Argyle's got knockout. So I'm pretty sure knockouts would have won that one. Solihull Sharks would have won that one, so they would go 1-1. Nottingham Rebels are 2-0. Bangham Sharks, that'd be a close one. That, so I'm not sure who won between Bangham Sharks and Gorgie Vikings, but I'll fill it up tomorrow because they both had pretty low scoring. I think Gorgie Vikings, but he won that one actually, so they would be 1-1.
Yeah, let's fill it up, Johnny. Let's fill it up, and we'll have a proper. Why don't we have a proper look at this next week when we're 4 weeks in and there's a couple of weeks to go, and then we'll start off with the cup and we'll run through it properly, and then we can see with 2 weeks to go, you know, who's in it, who's not, who's just in it to cause upsets, and who's in it to win it.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll have it updated next week, I promise.
Perfect, and we'll run through it properly then. But yeah, week 3 in the bag, so. Well done to all the 3-0s. Commiserations to all the 0-3s, and very indifferent for everything in between. But get on your teams, get your team set for this week. And
I think Craig's battery's dead. So I'll say thank you for myself and Craig. You might come back on beforehand. But yeah, not too disheartened with some of the 0-3s because some of them, including the last one there, were pretty high scoring teams. You've just come up against some better ones. If you keep on like that, you'll be climbing back up that division in no time at all. So yeah, thank you for the couple that did come in and watch. A comment might be nice, but we'll get to that one another day, and we'll see you next week. Good luck, everyone.